I want to know the nature, the circumstances of your relationship with Roger Bird.
I met him. I didn't know at first he was the party secretary. He interviewed me for my PPC exams.
What's that?
So in UKIP we have in order to become a prospective parliamentary candidate, we have to sit exams.
Right.
And he interviewed me on policy.
Yeah.
So he said, would I could continue the interview later at a club. I thought this was party protocol for interviews.
So
yes.
you met him in a club?
No, it's a private.
Yeah, but
the Oxford and
we've now
Cambridge
gone
club.
from the professional to something a little more personal, private.
I thought it was what one does.
Right. And what happened at that meeting?
I think he thought he thought I was a bit nervous and possibly I could be a good candidate.
Yeah.
And I think he wanted me not to be so nervous and to perform as well as I could in order for me to pass, in order for me to continue.
And what happened?
I felt a little bit uncomfortable because it's as though he found me attractive and he wanted to get to know me in a more intimate way as opposed to just being a good political representative for the party.
Can you tell me about your dinner with Roger Bird?
Yes, I had met him at his office once and he asked me if I was hungry, would I like to go for dinner? I said yes. It was the school half-term holidays and I was wearing a jean skirt and Dr. Martin boots. I don't think I looked very politician-y that day. And he said that I wasn't in the right clothes to go and have a nice dinner. He bought me a dress so that I could go and have a nice dinner with him, which in itself is nice. As well, it's a way to buy people things in order to so that you're in control and they're not, because you're grateful for them supporting you. But the thing that made me most sad about the whole incident was a small comment when he said, now you look like the sort of girl that can get into a taxi. And I think that epitomised UKIP and how they see women.
He says, I've got emails and texts which show that we had a relationship between September and November. And he says, and I think I'm quoting him here, Natasha and I were in a consensual relationship during those days, well after her admission to the approved candidates list. There are also, he implies, texts of an intimate nature.
There are texts between us.
Of an intimate nature?
No. No. Often I send a kiss after a text, like, see you later, kiss, kiss. I think that's a girl thing to do, but I don't think that's particularly intimate.
Did he ever make a clear proposition to you that you and he go to bed?
Yes, but when I said no, nothing happened. He's a gentleman.
Yes.
Yes, he was never, I never felt scared of him. I just felt pressured maybe that if I did the right thing, my career would go faster and further. If I would have slept with him, I would have probably have had an easier time than I have had in UKIP. But it was almost, I joined a party and then I was thrown to the wolves.
In the matter of the relationship between you and Roger Bird, one of you is lying big time. Who is it?
I think I know he is lying. Because no doubt, because I did not sleep with Roger Bird. End of.
People will look at you and they'll say that's fascinating, but why did you continue meeting with him?
He was the General Secretary. I was a PPC. If the General Secretary of the political party you want to stand for calls you and says, Natasha, please come and meet me for a coffee, you go for a coffee. It's what one does with one's superiors.
And what was disappointing was that he hit on you.
That he wasn't taking me seriously as a candidate, he was looking at me as a sex object.
Do you think UKIP have been unfair in suspending him for improprietorial behaviour? For impropriety?
Well,
what do you think?
On the one hand, yes, because he shouldn't have favoritised me as a PPC. I shouldn't have felt pressure that if I did sleep with him, I would have got further. But on the other hand, when I said no, he understood it as a no. But if this issue would have been dealt with when I flagged it up with all the other issues and all the other problems I was experiencing in UKIP on the 5th of November, then I think he could have just got a little tap on the wrist, and that would have been the end. That would have been the end, and we could have both continued.
Let me try and sum that
I
up.
just think for women, so often there are men in powerful positions, and I'm not in a powerful position. I'm just a PPC candidate for UKIP. He is a powerful General Secretary in UKIP. He can decide for me, for Natasha, whether I will succeed or whether I won't succeed. I said no because I want to win an election campaign, because I am good on my own merit, whether I sleep with him or anybody else. I do not want to sleep with somebody in order to benefit my career because I am Catholic. Where will it end? And there is pressure on women, and that's why I'm standing up here today, and that's why I reported, and that's why I walked away from a target seat and flagged up all these issues and ruined my career and ruined my life, because there's so much pressure on women to maybe sleep with somebody that they don't want to in order to get into a job, because that's the way they feel, that's the pressure they're under, and it's at all levels of society. It's not just in Parliament, and that's what I'm standing against, because that's what I disagree with, and we need to do it for the future generation, for future girls out there.
Did you ever complain about Roger Bird? Did you make a complaint?
I did make a complaint. When I was bringing forward all these claims in a very polite and professional way, I was told to keep my head down and it will be sorted, and it wasn't sorted. And so then we need to look at it in the greater picture. So if they're not looking after a candidate, a PPC candidate that's going to stand in one of their target seats, who's bringing forward serious allegations of sexism and racism and misogyny, are they really going to look after our electorate?